And I'm gonna use my phone for chatting if there's anybody there.
People are going to be shocked and be like, it's a penguin sighting.
Oh, no, and look, it might be they might. I don't know if they're gonna be more shocked because of you or they're gonna be more shocked of me because I have not been live in like a year.
I think they're going to be more shocked with you. I think they're going to be more shocked with you.
You think?
I don't know. It could be both. It could be just like, whoa, there's a penguin sighting here. I don't know.
All right, let's just figure this out because we are now live and I think they can hear us. Give me an audio check real quick so I can make sure your voice is coming through.
All right, is it coming
Yep,
through?
yep, coming through. And we are live. Oh, hello everyone. We got people. There's a viewer, but that might be just me as a viewer. I am Drinks and Discussions. Good to see everyone. I am in the backyard. Penguin, the one and only, is joining me tonight on a very rare but also needed live stream tonight. I apologize. My forehead's a little shiny. I
Oh, you look
apologize for
fine. Don't
that.
even worry about it. You look great. You look wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I am having a little cocktail in the back patio. So cheers. Cheers to you, Penguin, and cheers to everyone that is watching us this evening. How how are you? Why don't you first give us an update before we start talking about stuff? Why don't you give us an update? I know you and I
So
have
I'm doing
spoken.
great. I'm doing awesome. Me and the baby are doing good. I'm on number 3. So uh so it's a lot. wasn't uh wasn't expecting it, but I'm happy. But man, oh man, crazy day today. I don't know how you've been feeling today, but between the news, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
So I've been hitting from all sides today, and let me just start by saying that even though we're not really talking about Charlie Kirk, but we would be remiss if we didn't say our condolences to his family. Nobody, and I mean nobody, should be sitting there, no matter what political spectrum you are from, what background you're from, should be celebrating the loss of life. We should
No,
be
not at
mourning.
all.
We should be sitting there going, whoever did this should be held to the utmost, at the highest level, at the extent of the law that they could possibly be. This is uncalled for, and I'm shocked today that someone would take
I'm
their
really, really
political
shocked
views.
by it.
I'm
Yeah, it's
shocked. I'm
I,
really
I
shocked.
I was absolutely floored because okay, so when you think about assassins, right? You think about the president because they influence policy, or a general, or someone in the political sector that actually influences major policy. And like he didn't have uh he wasn't in charge of policies like that. Like it just was very shocking, like of him of all people. But it is sad because there is a wife out there that has lost her husband, and
Hmm.
there are 2 small children that have lost their father.
Hmm.
And, I won't like it could be somebody speaking on the other end, maybe someone that had different views or different politics than me, but so incredibly sad. And he was only 31 years old. Like
When I
that
when I saw
young.
that, that is the little reason why I was more taken aback because I thought maybe he was in upper 30s, mid 30s
Mhm.
maybe. But being so young and being so so to be so affluent, what's the word? Not affluential. What's the word I'm looking for? He
He
was
was articulate.
no, he was
He was quick.
influential
Yeah.
in his party that made me sit there and do a double take because I was just it was just sad to me to see that this young man's life was taken away by somebody. Oh, we don't know who it was. We don't know their political affiliation either. Decided that they wanted to express their, you know, beliefs or their disdain for whatever he was talking about in a violent manner. And there's no reason for anyone to take violence as a measure of their, discord from what someone else is talking about or their political beliefs.
Right. And he was all for what makes it even more sad is we are a country that where you can debate, like when we do presidencies or, town hall, we debate
Hmm.
it.
Right.
And that is the way that you're supposed to do it. And so this that's all he did was debates, really. I mean, he did other things, but it just takes out it goes against everything that this country is meant to stand for. When you can't even you have to feel the need to silence a voice in a violent way instead of debating it out, debating it out with facts, getting stats, using, you can argue the stats even, but no, that this was just, ugh, yuck.
Well, I want to talk about political stuff, but I want to also talk about how it is not appropriate for individuals to make this a left or right issue when we don't even know who the suspect is. We don't
Well,
know
it's jumping
what
to
the yeah,
conclusions.
we don't know what the suspect was affiliated, what political party they were affiliated with. Because I know that there are a lot of times where people, including the person who was assassinated or tried to assassinate Trump, was a MAGA conservative, left right leaning person, but he was a not, whatever his political beliefs were still like it wasn't far right enough for him. So let's not jump into conclusions on the motive if we don't know it. And I've been already attacked tonight in certain
Oh,
Discord channels about this is some left liberal, anti-gun, this, that, and the other, and they have no idea what the freak they're talking about. So
well, you know what they say about assume, it makes a ass out of
that's out of
me.
you
And
and you. Yep.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, everyone can just jump on the bandwagon, and I'm sure that they're going to, but we don't know yet if this is mental illness. We don't know yet if this was a guy that, I mean, this was years ago, but take the singer Selena. Her fan manager did that. That
Oh,
wasn't,
yes.
like it could be anybody. We don't know. We simply don't know yet.
And then we start talking about that, and you say, there you go, why are we in a government that is taking and stripping away funding for mental health issues? Why are we taking away funding for organizations that can actually help mental
Well,
health?
yeah, I
Why are
mean,
we doing that?
yeah, yeah, you're not, I have an issue with what, and I guess people need to start asking themselves really tough questions
Hmm.
because we do have a lot of mental health crises going on in this country. And I
Yes.
guess the question is, how do we make it safe again? And how do we also treat people with mental illness? Years ago, they had asylums. Do we bring back asylums for criminally insane? Do we find different avenues? What do we do? Because my whole thing with people that commit violence or murders for that are mentally ill, they are mentally ill, but a crime, a life was still lost.
Mm.
So, what do we do with this now individual? And
Mm.
these are the big questions that we all as a country need to ask ourselves. Like,
True.
yes, I'm all for treating a person, but at the end of the day, if a human life has been lost, or, what what is the recourse for that? Because obviously what do we do with people that are too mentally ill to be productive members of society to the point where they're taking human life? What do we do? And I think that we all have to ask ourselves these really tough questions. Do
Well,
we
so
find a
so
new system?
so so
What is the answer?
so here's why I have taken a sabbatical off of YouTube in this sector is because I joined their Chamber of Commerce in my city. I've joined and I know who was real or not reelected, but newly elected in my city. I know the mayor now. And so one of my aspirations in life is to become more vocal in my city. And I encourage everyone to also do the exact same thing. If it's a school board, city council, mayorship, or whatever the things, be more vocal to making changes in your own city. It starts there. And so when people start talking about mental health issues, I always tell people this. If there was a bucket that you could actually contribute into, and you could sit there and go, hey, instead of building, this or that, we're going to build a workforce facility to house the homeless, mental illness. And not everybody who has a mental illness is going to want accept help. We already know that. I have a brother who does not want to. He was just rearrested 2 weeks ago, and they just don't want the help. They're just going to keep repeating themselves over and over and over again. But if you contribute funds and you say, "Hey, we're going to get you off the streets, but here are the constraints about what you need to do," instead of building prisons and jails, we're going to build rehabilitation, don't call them prisons, rehabilitation facilities so that we can address this mental health issue and get you clean over and over and over again if we have to. I think that we can actually serve our society in a better way than making people unhirable because they're unemployed, they're addicted, unhirable because they're homeless, unhirable because they don't have a physical address. I think we have to attack the issue in a different way, if you ask me.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's also a case by case basis because not
Yes.
every everyone has their own story, everyone has their own journey, and everyone is a different type
Mm-hmm.
of case. And I guess I'm all for cleaning up the streets, but I'm also for treating people. And I think that COVID really messed a lot of people up. And I think that the mental health crisis has never, it went at an all-time high, and we haven't been able to really address it at all. I don't really think there's anything. But I also think people need to start asking tough questions like your mental health illness and your self-esteem. That's the reason why they call it self-esteem is for you.
Mm-hmm.
But your mental health should do you I guess what I'm trying to say in the nicest way is there is a responsibility on everyone as an individual, as adults, not minors, obviously. But if I know I'm mentally off, I have to seek treatment. Now, I think that treatment should absolutely be available for people that seek it. And I know that there's tons of people doing just that. But if you aren't seeking it and you know that you have a problem, I think that there is a bearer of responsibility there.
So I did a whole lot of segments around narcissist in my previous Drinks and Discussions platform. And one of the things about narcissists is they say that that there is like 1 to 3% of people in the world that are diagnosed with narcissism. And do you know why that is?
Why?
Because people who have mental illnesses don't seek treatment and get diagnosed with it. People who
Nope.
have our narcissism, they don't sit there and go, "Oh, let me go and get diagnosed with it." They just say, "No, I'm okay," and they aren't diagnosed with it. And this is the thing I'm going to tell you about. There was an article that came out about Amish people and why Amish don't have a high rate of autism. It was because they don't see doctors like we see them. They have their own medical stuff. So they don't report those cases like we do. And it's almost like Middle Easterns or Indian or Asian, they actually believe that if your kids have autism, because my wife is a special ed teacher who deals with special needs kids in school districts, and they will take their kid back to India or back to wherever to think that they can heal their child's affliction through some kind of religious regimen. And that's what I keep,
Um,
and that's just weird to me that people kind of go down that whole rabbit hole.
Um, I think it's because when you grow up super religious, and this could be for almost any religion, your set of thinking is very, very different.
Oh, absolutely.
Uh, and I also think that people who are super religious or have extreme disciplines are also wired differently. If you are a disciplined person, that makes a huge difference in your mental health and how you go about the day to day. If you have self discipline is super important. Self restraint, self discipline. It's very different when you grow up in those
Uh,
different sects.
Let me ask you this question. How important is it, do you think, that your parents instill their political, or not political, but their religious belief on their children? How important do you think that that is?
As a religious person, I would say it's very important.
Okay.
It's
Why?
probably the most important
Why?
because it's not just about the religion and the discipline, it's about their soul. And as a religious person, I would say that my children having a connection to God and discipline, empathy for fellow man, self control, and a big awareness of what is correct and not correct, and accountability um, can be used, but definitely a different way of self control and discipline. That all comes from discipline,
Can you
self
take
discipline.
can you take the religious aspect out of all of that?
You could. I mean, I'm sure you could. I mean, in a lot of Asian culture, you can. I mean, it really depends on your background and your parents, but you just see it more with very religious households. Like for me, I would say that I didn't used to think when I was younger that the religious stuff was important. I never really saw that until after few years after I became a parent and truly discovered how little I knew. Because
Mm.
I was actually in a super, out of my siblings, because there's a lot of us, I was one of the more rebellious ones
Mhm.
out of my siblings. And I have a lot of siblings, so it's tough to beat.
Or you're like one
you
of
know,
six or seven? What are you, six?
one of six,
Yeah.
one of six.
Mhm.
And that's tough to beat when you're like, well, shoot, top two. Oh my goodness, I came to the rebellious, but yes, I was that super rebellious teenager. I didn't want to listen, and I had to learn everything the hard way. And
Right.
it wasn't until I had hit rock bottom a few points in my life that I had to really think about my ways. And I don't want my kids to learn things the hard way that I did. I want to instill that, do it this way. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just the way I'm wired.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm like you. My parents instilled their religious beliefs on me, and like you also, I rebelled against those religious beliefs. And it is because of that, I believe that the worst thing we could ever do to our children is to limit them to believe the things that we believe. I believe that our children should be able to flourish and believe whatever they believe. And they should
I
have the
want them to believe
options.
in what they want to believe, but I want them to have a connection to God because God can bring peace. People that have that good connection can find a lot of peace with it. You can find inner peace with religion. You can find safety.
Have you
You
ever
can
meditated?
feel safe.
Have you ever meditated before?
Oh my goodness, such a good question. So I never meditated until my last pregnancy,
Mm.
and
Doing
it
the,
was so
those contractions? I know. Go ahead.
well,
But go ahead. Go
like
ahead.
I really okay, so I tried this meditation class when I was pregnant, and it was after my failed yoga attempt. I tried pregnant yoga, okay, and it was not a fit for me. So then I did meditation,
Hmm.
and that was helpful. Now, I wish I could have used that for labor and delivery, but I wasn't okay, so this is so terrible, but I missed the birth. I missed it. I missed it. I had to be they okay, so they had to put me under general for it.
Right.
And it was very okay, so you know how most couples they have that wonderful experience where,
Right.
the mom, you see your child be born and
Hmm.
then everybody comes in after and then you get to see their reaction to seeing the baby.
Hmm.
Okay, so everyone had seen and held him and then I woke up hours later. So with me, it was goodness, it was actually quite scary. It was 4 spinal blocks, 2 epidurals, none of them worked. So then they told my husband that, "No, you gotta wait outside. It's going under general, can't have you in there." My
Hmm.
son was born within 9 minutes, but I was an extra, like, 2.5 hours. So my sisters were freaking out. And
Hmm.
I mean, like near conniption. But I woke up, and, I'm all dazed. And then everybody's watching my reaction meeting my son for the first time.
Right.
So it was very, very opposite. It was very, it was very opposite in that sense.
Right.
I'm
What,
hoping,
but,
yeah, I'm
so
hoping it'll be different.
one of our best friends is a pediatric nurse, and she always says, regardless of the experience, the only thing their goal is to send the mom home with that baby. I don't care. They
Right.
don't care about who sees who and how they are holding that baby. If the dad has to take his shirt off and bond with that baby while the mom is recovering, they want to make sure that that baby goes home with that mom. And if the scariest thing we've ever experienced in my life, outside of a miscarriage, because we've had a miscarriage, the scariest thing is that when they close that door and you're in labor and they close the door, you know somebody is not going home with their baby. That's the
Mm.
saddest thing I've ever witnessed as a father is knowing that when they come in, they say, "We're going to close this door. We're going to close this door. We're going to close the door," and they're whispering, "Got to close the door." Somebody ain't going home with
Oh,
their baby, and it is
that's
a
terrible.
terrible, terrible sunken feeling. So while I'm glad that you had to go through all that kind of stuff, but you still eventually was able to
Oh, yeah.
hold your baby.
Oh
Th-
yeah, I'm a trooper. Really funny. One of my friend, goodness, Callie, she saw me after and she's like, "Oh my God," because I looked like a Macy's Day balloon, but I was in good spirits. I did. I looked like a Macy's Day balloon. I was swollen everywhere. But you know, I gotta say, that whole experience made me have such a big respect for nurses. I had
yes.
an amazing nurse. So when I woke up, really funny, I'm out of it. I want to know where my baby is. I'm in a whole different area. I'm in intensive care. They're upstairs. And she tells me, she pats me on my back and she goes, "Oh, we got pictures." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks." And she's like, "Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you all that heartburn you were complaining about was justified." And I was like, "Huh?" Because my oldest was born a baldy. And then this
Had
one's
a lot of
full
hair.
head of hair. Oh my God. Well, you see her.
Really?
You see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Full head of hair. And oh my goodness, so I gave birth to my husband in the sense that they're twins. Uh, he's got my eye color, and that's about it.
But
But
you know
but
what's
I have
funny?
such a respect for nurses and their field. Like I knew that nurses had a tough job, but that whole experience made me have such a
A
different
different.
respect.
Hmm.
Oh my God, because my nurse really got me through it
Yes.
because I was having like a mid panic attack mid through. I remember getting fed up with all the freaking spinal blocks. At one point I was ready to rage out, and she if I hadn't had her, I don't know what I would have done. Like I I knew the job was hard, but I never had that
Yeah, you
deep
didn't know.
respect for it
Hmm. Until you go through
like
it.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's the ladies who are like, we gon' we gonna make this work. We gonna have it now. You gotta like push, and you go. And they were. And my wife was like, "Oh, I'm so." And she's like, "Nope, we're gonna get this baby out of there. You gotta go." And they're so spunky. They are. It's just a talent that comes with the academics. I get it.
Right.
There's a bedside manner, and I'm also just happy too that we had an experience with my son that I mean, all my children, this have been like, it's just having kids changes your life. And sometimes we wait, especially with dads, sometimes we don't, it doesn't click right away having kids.
Mhm.
And then it's sooner or later you go, hold on, I'm a father, and so I have to start setting the example for this, that, and the other, and it just becomes this wonderful, euphoric thing. And I can't even explain it, but it's such an amazing event. I'm sure your
Yeah.
husband's gone through that same thing.
Well, it, you know, life changing,
Life
definitely life
changing.
changing. And, it was kind of, in our case, he got to see him first, and he was with him,
Mm,
just those two, with obviously my siblings and my parents were there, but he was with him first, and he was there a while, but with our experience personally, he got scared when 30 minutes turned to 1 hour, and then one
mm,
hour turned to two
right.
hours. And I'll never forget when I got out of there and it was just me and him, he was like, "Don't you ever scare me like that again." And I was like, "Pardon me?" He's
Yes.
like, "I just want you to know you ain't leaving me with these kids by myself." That's what he
Cheers to
said.
that. Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
he had a deep appreciation, I think, for me in that moment. Like it was, yes, it was such a bonding and thrilling experience, but I think it was a mixture of such scare, excitement, and
Mm.
then it was so funny. I can't tell you. I'll never forget. He's like, "Don't you dare ever scare me like that again. You are not leaving me with I am letting you know right now, you are not leaving me with these kids by myself. You are not doing it."
He's like, I can't breastfeed. What are you doing? Stay with me. You can't do this. I
Yeah.
can't do this.
Well, you gotta think from his perspective, baby's out within, like, 9 minutes.
Mm.
And then you look at the clock, and it also didn't help. So, the nurse told me that apparently one of my siblings every, like, 15 minutes, "Where's my sister? Where's
Oh,
my sister?
oh yeah.
It was actually a very big bonding experience for my siblings and I,
Mm, yeah.
because they were worried. They were scared.
It wasn't a dry
They were
birth, was
scared.
it? It wasn't a dry birth. Did they do a C-section? C-section at the end?
So I had preeclampsia. So they
Mm,
gave me, I knew we were going in for the C-section.
okay.
They gave me 4 spinal blocks, and then that didn't work.
Oh
And
wow.
then they gave me 2 epidurals. And
Mm.
then they tried one last time, so it was technically 3 epidurals. But they brought my husband in. They said, "Listen, we're gonna try one more time, but we can't pump her with anything else, or else she's
It'll
gonna
affect the
risk like
baby.
having a stroke."
Right.
Yeah. So then he said, "Okay, well, I can just stay here." And when a woman goes under general, they
Mm-hmm.
have to get the baby out super quickly because the baby will
Mm-hmm.
suffocate. So the baby came out within like 9 minutes. And then I guess they took their grand old time. I guess I took a really good nap, but it was like 2.5 hours with me. So it was just very different. And apparently my one sister was driving the nurse's desk nuts because she kept asking every 15 minutes where I was,
Mm.
you know.
Wow.
But she was worried for me, and I don't blame her
Of
because
course, yeah,
preeclampsia is
yeah,
no
of
joke.
course. All right. So,
And if you ask Kelly, she'll tell you. She said my face looked like it was huge. It looked like a basketball. It was crazy.
really, because of all the drugs and stuff?
More than that, with preeclampsia, you swell. And I
Oh,
mean, like all that fluid is retained. To give
mm.
you an idea of how much fluid I retained, and it was a lot, guys. Like I didn't look the same. I was drooling
Were you
right
bedridden
before I
before?
had. Hmm?
Were you bedridden before the baby was born?
No, no, I wasn't bedridden, but so what had happened was my OB went on vacation for holiday,
Mhm.
came back, and my husband was trying to be all nice. He goes, "Hey doc, she's a little swollen. Look at her feet." And my doctor, her feet, look at her face. I was literally drooling when I was talking because you swell.
Right.
And I actually lost 40 pounds within 11 days of just fluid. It
Wow.
Yes, and it was gnarly. Like if you ask anyone, it it was it looked like I just been like have you ever seen Willy Wonka when the violet eats the
Eat the
looks like the
blueberry?
giant blueberry?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, I was her. Yeah, I was her.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
And I'm all familiar with the preeclampsia stuff because you like get a lot of water retention. But that's crazy.
Yeah,
So, but
40 pounds, 11 days. 40 pounds in 11 days.
so let's talk about life, and now let's transition to death
Mhm.
because I am going to be honest with you. I was not a big fan of Charlie Kirk. When he said that if there's a black pilot flying a plane, he was going to be nervous, I have never been less of a fan than this guy.
Gotcha.
But having said that, I'll be honest with you. There is absolutely nothing in my mind that he's ever said that says that he deserved what happened today.
Yeah.
I am disgusted. I am appalled. I am saddened that he had to leave two children and a wife behind
Yeah.
because whoever, and we don't know who was behind this horrific event, but I am 100% behind the fact that they need to be brought to the utmost stringent arm of the law that they can find for whoever did this. This is not acceptable to me.
I did like Charlie Kirk, so I'm opposite you on that end. But I will say this, and why I agree with you with there needs to be a consequence, because that sets a precedent
Hmm.
that people can just start doing that to each other when we don't like what we have to say. And
Right.
that's why it needs to be shut down and there needs to be a consequence because Charlie Kirk, love him or hate him, he was about debating. And that is a fundamental thing in this country. And that's why whoever did this needs to be brought to justice and needs to be shut down. Because like him or not, like that, take that out of it. You didn't like him, I did. Take that element completely out of it. He was about debating, and that is a fundamental thing in this country. We need to
Right.
bring back being able to debate without personal, without the name calling, without the slurs, without the we need to go back to intelligent debates.
And that's
And I, that's what I want to see.
And that's the problem. I think that we're in a climate, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Donald Trump is the precipice of why we are where we are. I think Donald Trump says that anybody who's a Democrat is the what's wrong with this country. They are all this and that. I believe that we are, and I didn't like it when Hillary Clinton said that people who voted for Donald Trump were deplorables. You can't have it one way and not the other. So if
Yeah.
you say Hillary Clinton was wrong for saying that people who voted for Donald Trump were deplorables, but you can't sit there and say that Donald Trump is right by saying Democrats are what's wrong with this country. Because if you don't agree with the policies, don't agree with the policies, but don't sit there and think that I'm not going to sit there and say Republicans are all bad, and you shouldn't be sitting there going all Democrats are bad either. That's where we are. We're in a
Well,
climate where people are going, if you are a Democrat, you support this, that, and that's what's wrong with this country, and you're bad. And I'm like, wait a minute, didn't we just go to a Cowboy game together? Like,
well,
what are we doing?
I am of the mindset that I'm so my husband is like Trump fangirl.
I know.
And I'm going to be honest, I think that the fact that we have two parties is a problem. I'm more into the crazy conspiracy theorist stuff,
Okay.
but it is easier to control a people when they are divided. I think that there is bad on both ends. I think, you know how we would solve a lot of problems in this country? Give them term limits, but no one ever does. No one ever does.
But we've
And
never
that goes
had
for
that.
Democrats,
But
yeah, Democrats or
we've never had
Republicans.
that. We've never had
Yeah,
that term limit in this country.
never. And we need to bring it like if the president has one, why don't the others have it? And there is a such thing as going at it too old.
I
And I'm
agree.
sorry, but no offense to you Democrats, you guys got a clean house or you guys got too many old geezers and the Republicans had
I
the
was gonna
same
say, hold
problem.
on.
They
Don't you
do. They
talk.
do.
Don't you Mitch McConnell me.
Look at
Don't
Donald.
you?
He's like
Hey,
what in his 70s now?
Don't you Mitch McConnell me. He's older and he froze when somebody asked him a question. I get it. You can't point the finger on one side and not point the finger on the other side.
But there's so
We
many
both
ways that we
have
can make it better. There's
we
so many like
but we
term limits are
both
one.
but we both
It
have old geezers in the
yeah,
House and Senate that we're like, why are these old people who were probably still alive when slavery was here still making judicial decisions on our
it's
behalf?
so much more than that. Why are they benefiting? How is it that you are making millions of dollars with that kind of salary? What the hell is going on?
No, I'm
And
not.
it's
Look,
not just
I'm
Democrats.
not gonna even
It's
get.
Republicans.
I'm not even going to get into like their, stock exchanges right now. Look,
Yeah.
we can piecemeal this together. I don't, but I'm not going there for right now. I get that. That's a whole different conversation, and I probably will agree with you on that. But when you sit there and you talk about term limits based upon people who have been there 20, 30, 40 years because their
Mhm.
constituents are too set in their ways to know any better about their elected officials. Let's be honest.
Yep.
We should
Yeah.
have term limits. We should have term
Oh, yeah.
limits.
Not only term limits, but I the term limits is one. People always bring up the national debt to me. And that's a big talking point with conservatives. You know how you could change that national debt? If
How?
you made it a law that if the deficit reached over, let's just say 3%, just throwing out a number,
Okay.
that if the deficit reached over 3%, that no one in Congress is eligible for reelection, bam, I guarantee we get out of debt. I
Well,
guarantee there'd be major budgeting changes and the money would be spent correctly. And I know people are mad over cuts and bad decision making,
hmm,
but I honestly feel that if there was a law that said if you raise the national debt like the deficit over this much, you're not eligible for reelection. And that goes for everyone and that everyone. There would be dramatic change in that.
And then no one ever would vote for a Republican.
No, yeah, but you could
Because
make the same argument with
no,
Democrats. You
no,
could.
because every Republican has increased the deficit 3 or 4 times more than any Democrat president. Since I can't even remember. I don't know if it was before Nixon or it's been a long time since a Democrat has increased the budget more so than a Republican.
I'm gonna have to look up my stats and call you out on that one a
You call
different
me that.
time.
Look, you definitely do
I'm gonna
that.
have to look up my stats on that one.
Look up.
I'm gonna
Even
that's
though even
we'll hold that one for later, folks.
even economic experts will say if you are concerned about the deficit, you would never vote for a Republican because Republicans always increase the deficit. And I'll be more even poignant on my point.
I
Clinton,
think that
Clinton,
Republicans are
Clinton,
getting
Clinton was the only president to leave office with a surplus in the deficit and didn't actually contribute to the deficit of the he didn't contribute to the deficit. He was the only president that did that in our lifetime, I think.
I mean, I think a lot of stuff has needs to change and this is gonna sound really, really harsh and this is one of my goodness, people are gonna not like it, but I want American taxpayer dollars to be spent on Americans because we paid for it. And call me selfish. I want my money. That money is my,
Uh,
your money,
you
my money.
but I
I
and
don't
I
want to fund foreign wars. And that goes, it's not just with Ukraine. And people are going to get, oh my goodness, I'm going to make my conservative friends mad at me for a second. I don't want to fund Israel or Palestine, and I really don't want to fund Israel anymore. I don't want
mm,
to fund them. I don't want to fund a lot of foreign
Israel
nations anymore.
Israel is really making
I'm
it
done with
hard.
it.
Israel is making it
Well,
hard because people have this
yeah.
biblical thing that says Israel is supposed to be this chosen land, and they lean on this biblical passage that says that Israel is God's country, God's land, and if you go against Israel, you're going against God. They lean on that Bible passage that is absolutely
Oh my
foobar.
goodness. I'm gonna make my conservative friends mad at me because I've gotten into this with my husband before about Israel.
Uh-huh.
And if they're leaning on the passage that says, well, God, you have to protect it because God and that religious passage, then let God protect them, not my taxpayer dollars.
Thank you.
I'm selfish and I want my but that goes with it's not just with Israel. I don't want anything foreign out of my taxpayer dollars because now it's one thing for different military bases like when we go overseas and you see the embassies and things like that, whatever. But I just don't want to fund it anymore. And it goes with Ukraine, it goes with so many different ones.
Well,
I'm I'm selfish and I'm just going to say it. I'm selfish in the way that like I want my money. I want you to have your money. That's our money.
well,
I want it.
and
Show me the money.
that's a very controversial statement, and I kind of agree with you. But
Yeah.
let's put it into perspective like this. We are supposed to be the big brother of
Oh God, here we
all
go.
the universe, right? We are
That's
supposed
the
to be
problem. But
no,
that's the
hold on,
problem. I
but
don't want to be Big Brother.
hold on. That's what we tout ourselves, the highest and most powerful military power in the world. So you come mess with us, or you mess with our friends, we're coming after you. And that is why NATO was established, because you have so many smaller countries that are less powerful that need Big Brother to come help them. And here's the problem that I think that we are overlooking in the Donald Trump era. It's not because we want to enrich our own people, But we also we want to spread our ideology across the world that we are doing the right things. We don't want Putin and his regime and President Xi and Kim Jong Un to spread their ideology and think that they are the best government out there. We want to promote our ideology. In order to do that, we have to back up our allies. We have to back up Ukraine. And Ukraine is really, really fundamental to me because people don't understand. The Ukraine gave up their nuclear weapons. They had nuclear power in order to be an ally with us. They said, fine, we'll give up our nuclear weapons, protect us. And we've done all of those things until Donald Trump said, well, Putin, blah, 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 blah. Putin is my best friend. That makes no sense to me. You can't sit there and make agreements with people and then sit there and go, we're going to withhold weapons. We're going to withhold all these things to help protect you, even though we're not sending our troops, which I'm glad so far we haven't done. But we should be sending everything we possibly can to prevent Putin, who now is in Poland, from moving his agenda forward to the Eastern Europe, to those countries over there. There's a
Okay.
reason why Doge should have not shut down the USDA to help promote and share our ideology to third world countries. It's because we
Why
want
is
them to
our
think like us.
ideology better though? But ask yourself this. Is our ideology always better? Like, look at the history of the United States when we get involved. We make it messy. And I'm just going to say, we as a country need to mind our own damn business for once and focus on our own. We, why, I guess the bigger question is when I get what you're saying with you want to spread our ideology, but you know who else had that same ideology years ago when they went into India and made it part of their empire for a short while? Britain. We want to share our culture, was the ideology of that. Why is it that we think that we're more superior to go into another country where they have a different way of living and say, our way is better? What gives us that right?
Well, so I don't necessarily think that, and I think that's the arrogance of America. You go overseas, and a lot of times, if you ever travel overseas, that we're not respected as if we're foreigners. Everybody, everywhere we go, there's always somebody go, oh, they're Americans and they're so blah 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 blah. We're the Karens of the world.
But what do we lead the world in? We
Defense,
die in infant
defense.
mortality, defense. Yeah, defense.
We're
We
probably
spend
the
more than everyone on defense.
and we're last in
Prisons.
education. We're last in
Yes.
education.
We're well, there's a lot of things that we're not where we should be for sure. But
Yeah.
my whole point is when I hear like, oh, we want to spread our ideology, maybe we should just mind our damn business. You know what I mean?
But
And
what's the
as
difference?
for the whole
So,
thing with Ukraine, I will say this: Zelensky lost $200 billion. You wouldn't be able to spend $200 billion in your lifetime. I wouldn't even know how I could spend it all before I croaked.
but he lost
So
that. He lost
I
that
want
defending somebody who invaded his
no. I mean,
country.
like he lost it unaccounted for. Lost it.
Well,
200.
he
There's
lost it.
200 unaccounted for.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
I'm gonna hit you back with my stats on that one.
You want to hit me on
But
back?
my whole point,
Hit me
yeah,
back with those stats.
yes, I'm gonna hit you back because it's actually over 200 billion that he lost.
Because
And when I say lost, not lost defending, because Biden
I knew you were
actually
going with
gave
that.
him at first it was giving him money and then Biden changed it and then we gave him weapons. And I just think that when we do this, every single time we have to learn from history. Whenever we do this, we're messy. We're messy. We cause a lot of conflicts in this world. We do.
Well, I agree. I think that the arrogance of America sometimes get in our own way. And sometimes when we are trying to progress our beliefs on other countries, that we are, sometimes stepping on our own toes. I'm
Yeah.
100% in agree with you. But I also believe that we are in a world that is divided, and people who are pro democracy, and people, and that's another thing. People always confuse the word democracy and democratic. And we are a democracy. And when you want to tell people that you have a voice in a democracy, you want to take it to Russia. You want to take it to Vietnam. You want to take it to Korea, South Korea. You want to take it to China and say that you should be able to elect your officials that speak on your behalf and not just dictate to you what they want to do as a dictatorship or
It's a different
imperialship.
world, though. It's a different culture.
But I
We
get
have
it.
no right to tell another country how to
Until they
handle their
try to
own.
advance their beliefs into the Western Hemisphere, when they try to bring that ideology to other countries, take them over like Putin is doing with Ukraine. When you try to bring that ideology, somebody has to sit there and go, "Hey, this is not okay. Let us be in unison with NATO and Ukraine, who we are an ally with, and go, let's
Ukraine's
prevent
not
this
part
from
of NATO,
happening."
though.
No, I said they're
Ukraine
our
is not
ally.
part of NATO.
They're our
They are,
ally,
but
though.
they're not. But
They're an
but here's
ally.
what benefit is to the United States taxpayer, the average middle class, to be spending money in Ukraine? What benefit does that to me?
Well, okay. Here. Oh, okay. I will tell you this. The benefit of that is because if Russia takes over Ukraine, then they take over Poland. They take over. Then they want to come back and take Alaska, and then they say they want to take over other Hawaii. Why
That's
would why
assuming
would
that he
I,
wants to take that. Like, from my
Alaska was
perspective,
part of Russia. We
no, but
bought it.
from my perspective, Putin we promised that we would not move NATO to the west, to the east. We promised Putin that. We broke our deal with
No,
NATO.
no. Putin broke the NATO accords by moving in and taking Crimea.
But we broke it first by adding more to NATO on the right
No,
there.
because there was a
We
G- there
promised
was
to
there was
not move it.
so there was a
NATO
thing.
came from the Berlin Wall, and we promised that we made a decision. We promised him, but it was actually Putin was not the official at the time. It was, oh my goodness, I'm having a brain
G6.
fart. It starts with a K.
You're talking about the G7, and there was but now with the G6 or G8, and there was a G7 because Putin was part of the
My
G7 nation.
my point is that when NATO first became established, it wasn't Putin. He wasn't in power at this
It was
time. It was
Gorbachev.
goodness.
Gorbachev.
Correct. But we promised him that we would not move, that NATO would not set one foot to that direction, and we broke it.
No, you know what happened by that time? Gorbachev started building nuclear weapons, and that was because that was that Cold War when Gorbachev started building nuclear weapons in Russia that broke that accord.
And who aimed them at Russia? Who aimed the weapons at Russia?
Nobody
Because
rained.
the whole the
Reagan.
Cold War is
Reagan did
such
that.
misinformation. No, the Cold
Reagan.
War is such, and I'll explain. Cold War. So when we hear about the Cold War, we hear about how Russia put nukes in Cuba. But what is not taught is no, that's not actually true. We put missiles in Turkey first. That was a response. And then we actually did something illegal with that blockade. We actually escalated the crisis. And it wasn't until Kennedy's brother went over there, made a secret pact to get the pull the nukes out, and then everything was fine, the Cold War. But that was us that did that. But my whole point is our government isn't always honest with us. And during that time, it was being propagated. Propaganda was all over the place. Them dirty Russians just aiming their nukes at us and they're going to come for us. When actually we started and kept escalating that conflict. So I would
Do
say
you
that
remember?
you have to look at it from the other country's perspective
I
as
agree.
well.
I 100% agree. I think that we are so self-centered as an Americans. We always, by the way, I want to talk about Oliver North, by the way, because the reason that I did not, my parents didn't want me to join the military is because the Iran-Contra hearings. If you don't remember those things, Oliver North, who was a top general in the military, I'm not going to say what branch, but he was supposedly sending secrets to our enemies, and they had this Iran Contra hearings. I'm not sure if you were familiar with that. So when that happened, we were sitting there going, as Americans, we were like, shit. In this Cold War that we are in, even before the Afghanistan war and all that kind of stuff, we're going, and this was like in the 1980s. We're sitting there going, why are we at war with a Cold War with all of these individuals and we aren't sure if they have nuclear weapons, capabilities of nuclear weapons. Did they get the nuclear weapons from us? All these type of things. There are thousands of things that we're like, why are they getting these secrets, and who's giving it to them? And it was because they were thought they were Oliver North. Did I leave? You lose you? I think I lost you. I'm gonna wait till Penguin gets back. I think I lost her. But anyway, if you're watching, I hope you're having a good time talking about this stuff because I really just wanted to have a good conversation, and it has been absolutely great. If everybody knows, Penguin is my favoriteest person, second favoriteest person on these YouTube streets, and I hope she comes back. I think we lost her, and I don't want to touch anything because I'm not sure. Let me go back to Discord and see if she's saying anything. I'm sitting here waiting on Penguin to come back. Oh, there she is. She came back,
Okay.
folks. She came
All right.
back.
So sorry.
It's okay. It's only a
Sorry.
live show. It's only a live show.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize, oh my goodness, I hate this new Android. But no, like I was saying with the whole I forgot where we left off. We were right at like with the Russia Cold War conflict, I believe. But my point is, our media is not always honest.
I
And
agree.
I think that we have to, I just think that historically we make things really messy.
Hmm.
And I think that we don't have a right to tell another country what to do. We have to get away from playing Big Brother with everyone. And most of all, the piggy bank. I I don't I don't wanna be the piggy bank. That's my money. I'm a selfish person that wants my money.
Oh,
It goes towards me. It goes towards you. It goes towards, and we talk about the mental health crisis, but could you imagine what $200 billion could have done for if we just put that money towards the mental health crisis? Like, we're so
yeah.
big on spending for foreign wars, and it needs to stop.
But think about the budget that we have for our defense. Who now
Hmm.
Donald Trump once called it the defensive, it's the Department of War instead of the Department of Defense. Imagine if you took 1%, which what we are giving to Ukraine, 1% of our defense budget to Ukraine. 1%. Imagine if we gave 1% from that budget to feeding homelessness, malnutrition, and people in poverty in our own state, our own country. Nobody's doing that. Nobody is doing that on either side. And here's the worst thing I'm going to tell you. Our president should never tell you that the Democrats are the worst thing that can happen to this country. Nobody should be telling you that the other side is the worst thing that could happen to this country because we're all made up to this country. We're all part of this country. We should all be sitting here and having the president say, I don't care who you voted for. I'm going to do the things that make everybody feel comfortable. And I'm not going to sit there, and Donald Trump is the worst. I've never seen any president say anything about the other party being corrupt. This party is deficient. They are the worst thing. And if we keep voting for them, it's going to be the death of our country. I've never heard that from any other president.
I think that I think that his rhetoric is is obviously very, very different. He changed the game because he's not a politician,
I
right?
don't, no, no,
I
no.
think,
You can say that the
yeah,
first time he was elected. You can't say that now because
I think that
he's fully on a politician now.
it's but for the mainstream media to call him a threat to democracy, like he's going to be the new Hitler, like it sets the precedent that MAGA and his followers are going to be Nazis. And I think that both are toxic. My position is this, because my husband's a huge Trump fan girl, and I'm not. I'm of the mindset that the fact that we have two parties is a problem. That they're so deep in corruption on these that we have pay to play with lobbying, and we somehow need to pull away and get the safest thing is to get those term limits, because if they have a shorter time to get something done, you would see a dramatic change in the country alone with just those term limits.
Well, so
I'm not
go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I just think that both parties are corrupt. I think that both of them do pay to play. I think that I felt really bad for Democrats when um they didn't do their own real election. Like, Kamala was kind of appointed. She didn't win that vote. There could have been countless candidates for that. And Donald Trump, I was shocked that he didn't debate the other candidates on the Republican ticket. That was wild to me. He managed to win the presidency without debating them. That was
Well,
wild.
so let me ask you a question. If Donald Trump suffered a fatal heart attack while he was running, after everybody elected him,
Hmm.
who would have ran on the GOP ticket?
I Okay, so me and my husband have a big disagreement because he loves JD Vance. I really liked Vic Ramaswamy.
No, no,
I
no,
I
no.
wanted him.
I'm just asking. If
Like,
nobody voted, if Donald Trump was already voted as the preemptive GOP candidate, and he died before the
It would have
presidential
been
election.
DeSantis.
Who?
It
No,
would have
no,
been DeSantis.
no, no. Don't what if me. Who would have done it? Who would have? And so here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. I'm asking this question. There is a procedure that you have to go, and Kamala Harris did this. You have to go through all of the delegates for all of the other states and say, hey, the delegates have to choose you in order to for you to be the preemptive candidate. And Kamala Harris did exactly how our government is set up to do. She was the preemptive person. And let's just say Biden just said, hey, I don't want to run anymore, regardless of the reasons. Kamala Harris did everything she was supposed to do in order to be in that seat. So that is a moot point to me when people are saying, "Oh,
Mm.
well, she was never elected," blah blah blah. You obviously, not you, but people obviously don't know how our democratic government works.
I just think the problem is we have two parties. And I'm all for different parties coming in. If you look at our constitution, it doesn't say that our candidates have to be Republican or Democrat.
It does not.
It doesn't say that. It
No.
doesn't say that. You could have John be president of the United States if he got enough votes, but I also think corporations are owning our politicians. This is pay to play.
Well,
This isn't
you
I
can write
want
in
what's going to
somebody
benefit me
if you're.
as the middle class American taxpayer. I want my money, I want it rebudgeted to benefit us because it is their government servants. They're meant to serve us. That is our money. That is our services. That is us. It is we the people. And I don't feel that a lot of them serve us.
If
I
you
think that when you're lobbying in other countries or when you're trying to be influential and, as you would say, share our culture, no, we don't have that right to tell a country that, oh, do it our way. We don't have that right.
well for two
We're
two
new. We're
well two
only 200 and something years old.
250
The United States is still a young country.
250 years because we're on our anniversary. I get that.
Right. Hmm.
So let me answer. Let me tell you about this. If you believe of all the things you're talking about, and you should believe that there should not be a president that should actually profit from being the president, and no one's profited more than Donald Trump has profited as being a sitting
In
president.
what way? In what
Financially,
way?
financially.
But he was already a billionaire before he came in.
No, no, no. He was a multimillionaire. He has substantially increased his wealth by being the sitting president of the United States. That's documented, easily documented. And no
But
president
that's
by the
kind of what
Constitution.
we're in agreement that they shouldn't be profited. So this is where we would agree because I agree that no president, no congressman, no senator should be making crazy amount of profit in those positions. Like if you have a $400,000 salary
Hmm.
and you're worth $150 million,
Hmm.
uh, and you're not arrested for fraud, insider trading, or whatever kickbacks that you are receiving, that's a huge problem. And
Right.
it's across the board. And people love to point at Pelosi.
Yes.
I know goodness, my friends are going to get mad at me again, but that goes both ways.
It
And
does go
this
both
is
ways.
why I'm all for changing. Some people,
You should not
the
be able to
question
invest.
is, what do you
If
do to
you're in
change
government,
the
you should not be able
system?
to invest in the stock market. If you're a
Correct.
political, you should not be able to. Yes, you
Any.
should not be able to.
Yeah, any. No, it's completely it's pay to play. And I don't want that.
Well,
There was this
so what
big
do you say
scandal
about
with
Donald Trump?
EpiPens
What do you say about
recently.
Donald Trump
I'm
investing in
saying
the?
with all presidents.
No, no, no. I'm just saying. let's just talk about the circumstances that we're in. Donald Trump has got bitcoins. He's selling sneakers. He has sold so many things, and he's also selling seats to the White House to his
Hmm.
organization. Why should any president profit as a sitting president?
They
There's
shouldn't.
and
That's one of my biggest
and he
criticisms. They
has
should.
been the only one, and nobody in the Congress, because we're partly because we're MAGA, and I'm hoping the midterms change this. No one's impeaching Donald Trump because he is violating every rule and every law of profiting and profiteering from being the president. You should not make money. And he's like, hey, if you don't do this, Paramount, if you don't make these changes, I'm not going to have the FTC approve your merger for this.
Well, the he got around that. So this is how he skirted with the Paramount scandal. He skirted around that because there's no law saying you can't sue. He sued Paramount. Was how there was an agreement with Paramount once he sued. I recommend that everyone look it into it. But that's how he skirted around with that one. But I would say with Donald Trump in particular, and I'm just going to be honest with my Democratic, with my friends that are Democrats or liberals, the more you try to impeach him, the more you're going to lose. That it only made him grow. People only, you, it strengthened MAGA when they did
Right.
it.
I agree.
Right. So
It,
I would say, like, while you might be correct that he could be impeached for it, there let's just talk reality. If Democrats approach on certain things do not work well. It just doesn't.
I
They're
agree.
them taking him to court, them filing all that stuff. You might as well have just gave him the presidency, and then the assassination attempt on his life. You might as well have just handed it over to him.
Well,
He was
the
unstoppable at that point.
assassination attempt was also, by the way, still speculative because
Right.
anybody who's shot anybody in the history of the world, we know so much more than we know about the guy who tried to assassinate our president. We don't know anything about that kid,
No,
other than the
no.
fact that his parents were Trump supporters. He was a Trump supporter. But why don't we know
Right.
more about
And but
him?
but this is why I tell people to get into conspiracy theories because there's so many secrets that our government holds, and this is just one example, right? Did you
I've never.
know
Go ahead.
that during there was a point during the Cold War, and people can look it up, right? That this was an actual plan. It's now been public on Google. Did you know that Kennedy stopped the CIA? The CIA had developed a plan to escalate the Cold War by bombing Miami and then making it seem like it was Cuba. It was an actual plan that they had come up with. It's a real thing. Actually, I might pull it up right now to find the actual name of it. But it was a real thing. Our government was planning to bomb Miami to escalate a conflict with the Cold War, and Kennedy shut it down.
That,
Our government is not always on it.
well,
Our government,
that sounds like
Big
that
Brother
sounds
is not good all the
that
time.
that sounds like the latest
Hold
episode of
on.
Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise.
Actually, I'm gonna find it. Hold on one second because
I'm
it's
just saying.
juicy.
No,
No, really,
I'm being funny.
this is
I'm
good.
being funny. But if you've never seen the last episode of Mission Impossible, the final whatever it is, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna have to bomb our own people in order to save the world." And I don't know if it was like something Florida or something. They picked a city, and then the president was like, "No, I'm waiting on Ethan to figure this out, and he's going to save the world." And so the president closed the thing and said, "No, I'm not going to let that happen. We're going to bomb our people." I don't. I get it. You like some conspiracy stuff, sometimes that conspiracy stuff just doesn't fly with me because conspiracies should have factual basis, um, you know, to back it up. And you can't just sit there and go, well, this person and this person and this person. You got to have like some hardcore evidence. And that is the reason why I'm not a religious
Okay.
person.
So, Operation Northwood, it has been officially declassified. I'm telling everyone, look it up on Google. Our government
Put it in
was
the chat.
planning to bomb. Here, I just put it in with you on our chat. But
Okay.
it is called Operation Northwood. It has been officially declassified. You can find it on multiple websites now. And yes, it was a governmental plan that they had came up with to bomb Miami, and Kennedy shut it down.
Damn. Was
Like,
the
it's
scientist in
an
that?
actual thing. It's Operation Northwood.
Was the scientist involved? I'm kidding. That's a joke. That's a
No,
joke.
like,
That's a
no, but
joke.
it's
I
a
was just
joke,
joking.
right? But no, but it goes to show that, like, a conspiracy theory is only a theory until it's proven as fact. But you've seen a lot of them, like take COVID, a lot of stuff came out with Fauci saying, well, we kind of made up this the 7 feet apart rule. That's on
Well,
audio.
well,
That is
well.
on audio.
They didn't make it up. They said this is what the evidence had at the time that they had the evidence, and then they
That's
adjust.
not what Fauci said though on audio. He
Oh,
said that they made it up. He made it up. The
I,
same with
I,
a lot of the
I got to
masks.
see that audio because the audio that I've seen from all the scientists outside of Trump saying, let's try to inject bleach and maybe we can put some
Oh God, the
sunlight
bleach
on that
comment.
bullshit.
No, but with
That's some
Fauci,
bullshit. Don't
Fauci
but you
is
can't sit there
so
and go, hold on, you can't sit there and go, what Fauci said was real, but what Donald Trump said wasn't real.
no. Trump made a stupid comment
He
about
made
the about
several.
Oh, absolutely. But Fauci, what made Fauci so bad was after COVID was over, there is an audio and there's multiple audios of Fauci doing foul stuff. First of all, I don't like Fauci because of the Beagle experiment that he did on those poor dogs. I don't like that. Number 2 with Fauci, the audio where he's saying if you make it tough for people to not be vaccinated, they'll give up their ideology and they'll just do it if we just force them and do this, that, and the third. There's an audio of that. And
Hmm.
then the other audio was when he was called out in Congress and they said, you made it up, the 7 feet rule. You made this up. You made that up. And he says in the audio, yeah, we just came up with it.
Yeah.
He says it. He
He said,
says it.
you know what? I remember that exchange. He said, we came up with that because of the transmission rate that we thought would actually benefit the American people because they know how far the transmission of the COVID virus could actually communicate to another person. And it was 6 feet, 7 feet, or whatever. They said that is the reason why we came up with that, 7 feet. They said that was the scientific reasoning why we didn't think. It's almost like if you cough,
Mm-hmm.
and if you cough and you have a communicable disease, I can't believe it has communicable disease in this late hour. If you have a communicable disease and you cough, they know how many feet the particles of your cough will actually go before it actually inflate and can actually contaminate another person. So 6 feet was a standard, and I don't understand why people don't
Mm-hmm.
understand that. If you sneeze, they know how far a sneeze will actually go in order for you to contain or to contaminate another individual. I mean, it
I
boggles
guess
my
my bigger
mind that
point.
people don't understand
No, you're
that
not wrong on that.
there has to be a certain little level of how far, and even if you like, listen, if you want to read a Lysol bottle and you say there's no really a lot of airborne diseases right now. We don't have a whole lot of them. But if you read the back of a bottle of Lysol, it says 99%, and we spray all the stuff. When you cough or you sneeze, you're spraying the air because you know your particles are only going to go so far. I don't understand why people were so hard on Fauci about the 6 feet rule. It's weird to
because he
me.
was seen not following it. He was seen on multiple occasions not following it.
Listen, I don't care if he was following it or not. I was following it. I was following it, and thank God I
No,
was.
you were.
I was. I
But
was following it. I was following. You were following it too. I know. I
but
was.
he was in charge of the
We were all on video.
CDC.
We had masks on our video, and we were
I
still sitting
know,
there
but
going,
he's in charge of the CDC. But as to my earlier point, our government is not always honest. And you know why? And this is a great example I love to give people. Take a look at the cannabis throughout our country's history and
mm-hmm,
how long it was banned because they believed it caused criminality, insanity, all these other things. And they knew for years it was fine. They knew for years that it was okay. But they had to come up with a drug with something like they literally said, you know, that well, you've seen the quotes on that, right? With,
mm-hmm.
oh, well, if we could associate the this
Well,
person with that and that person with that and criminalize them nightly on the daily news. It was a whole thing with the cannabis too.
it's an intro. They
Cannabis
call
in
it.
the narcotics
They
division.
call cannabis an introductory drug. And then you sit
Correct.
there and go, it's almost like alcohol. You're like, oh, I love this alcohol, but I need something more to get me to this level. And then you start migrating to the next drug. That is the
Right.
that is the
They called it the gateway
the
drug,
gateway
is
drug.
what they,
Right, right.
yeah.
So, and that is why they are hesitant. And I'm not sure. I'm not on board. I don't do weed. I don't do that stuff. But I get it. But I'm an alcoholic guy. I'm not an alcoholic guy. I like drinking. I drink my bourbons. But I understand that and I also like my cigars. And I actually tell my people all the time. I'm like, listen, if I can smoke my cigar outside on my patio right now in my backyard, and I'm sitting here going, I can have a relaxing cigar. And if you can have a joint and feel like I'm doing and feel like I'm feeling right now after I smoke
Hmm.
my cigar, more power to you. I'm not going to knock you because 9 times out of 10, people on weed, they ain't going to go and murder nobody. They ain't going to go and stick
No,
up
as
a
a
car.
matter of fact, if
They ain't going to
anything,
do
it would
none of
chill you
that.
out. If
Yeah.
it, like if you think about it, drunk driving, how often that ends people's lives versus cannabis. I mean, it's not even comparable. I
Okay,
mean,
well,
we're talking,
according to Vegas
yeah.
Valley, I've had five.
Oh, jeez.
Five
Oh God, no.
DWIs. I've got five.
No, but I'm just saying that in terms of our government is not always honest, and sometimes they know things like they knew for years that cannabis was okay, and they didn't deep. Could you imagine the people that were getting arrested? And this is another thing too. Back in the 80s and during these, even before the 80s, all these people getting these hard sentences for cannabis along with real violent offenders.
Mm,
Like, wow, they were allowing that. Like you would receive the same sentence of someone that
murdered somebody.
did something right, right. Or it was awful. Our government doesn't always do things correctly. And I
Yeah,
guess the question is, how
because
do you change
it was
the
affecting the
system?
brown and black people more so than
Correct.
it was affecting the suburbs. And then
Uh-huh.
I'm not trying to make this a black and white thing, but it doesn't become a racial thing until it becomes a racial thing. When cannabis starts affecting suburbia, including fentanyl and all this kind of stuff, then Americans start taking notice. Then they start saying they're going, well, wait a minute, where were you in the 80s crack crisis, 90s crack crisis? Where were you, government, asking for, you know, people to get into rehab and all that kind of stuff. Reagan was like, "Hey, do you not? What was it? What was Reagan's dare? Don't do drugs or some whatever the dare thing was."
Hmm.
It was one of those things where if it, and this is what I'm telling you about Americans are so caring. They're so caring when it comes to certain things. Unless it actually affects the European Americans, they don't really take notice. And
Right.
then they start saying, "Oh, it's an epidemic when it comes to fentanyl and all this kind of stuff." When it starts affecting the Caucasian Americans, then holy crap, it's an epidemic. And that's why
Well,
people
with
start
that
getting into
though,
there.
I mean, the problem with that though also is Black Americans make up I believe it's 14.4% of the population according to my stat. I think it's
Uh,
14.4. I'm sure someone can fact check me on that.
I think we're up to more
So,
maybe 20%, but that's okay. I agree.
uh,
I'll,
I
I'll
I'm
go with
not
that.
sure. I'll have to. Okay, so the ones that I'm looking at says 14.5, so I was close. But um, no, the point is that it's a smaller. Whites are, is it because they're white, or is it the majority? You know what I mean? Like, is it because, you know what I'm saying? I don't really think it's necessarily that they don't care in those communities. I just think that it's more of a majority thing.
Well, I believe as a leader, and I have a company that I actually hopefully think that people think I'm a leader. If it happens to the smallest of us, it happens to the largest of us. So if the person that is, you know, cleaning the floor has a problem and does something, it's going to affect and trickle all the way up to the reputation of the entire country, entire company. So we should, as a country, we should be sitting there going, if it happens to the least of us, it is happening to the greatest of us. We are no longer sitting there going, we're going to just bypass those little, small people. We are all we are all part of one big universe, one big country, and we should be looking at the smallest of us because they represent the most of us. That's in my opinion. And that's why I believe that we need we need representatives, we need congressmen, we need a president that can sit there and go, hey, I believe that we're all in this together. And if there's a drug addicted person that's in southern Mississippi, he's representing all of us. And we should not be turning our back and sitting there going, hey, just look away because they're not, who I am because I'm a rich person or whatever. We should be looking at
Right.
them and going, hey, well, how can we be better as a country and take care of that little person who's on drugs, PSTD, whatever, for he was served in the military, and just take care of everybody. I don't understand why we're not a country like that.
Uh, because this is a government, and I'm just going to be very, very frank with it. This is a government that you should not trust. And I think that this is why I push so much about our government not getting involved with foreign wars and foreign countries. I have such a I don't have a big trust with our government. Big Brother lies to us. Like,
Mm.
I just looked up that quote, by the way, with the war on drugs from the Nixon aid to give you an idea of how messed up our government can be sometimes, besides Operation Northwood. It literally says right there, this is a quote from John Erchelman. I'm probably butchered that last name, but I do my best.
Mm.
We knew we wouldn't make it illegal to either be against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and the blacks with heroin, and then
Mm-hmm.
criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their
Absolutely.
leaders, raid their homes. break up their meetings, and vilify them nightly on the evening news. Did we knew we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. But my whole point with reading that quote is and saying this is this whole constitution was started for we the people for the people. And I feel like on both sides of the aisle,
We're
we
not living up
have
to that.
pay to play lobbying.
Hmm.
And you shouldn't trust Big Brother to take care of the mentally sick. We shouldn't give more responsibility to this government until they take care of their own people and
Yes.
start being accountable and holding themselves accountable. They don't hold themselves accountable with term limits, insider trading. They have a lot of problems. And until they do, it's literally up to us to care for our own.
Yes.
That's how I feel with it. We cannot depend on our government to say, oh, well, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? No, we need to take I think the states need to start doing more. And when it comes to the illness crisis, this is where I'm kind of torn because I want people to get treatment.
Me
I
too.
do. I want everyone to get treatment and I want people to be able to have the ability to get help.
Mm.
But at the same time, I'm all for safety. And I think until we have a system where we can treat everybody like that perfect, beautiful, peaceful system where you have that opportunity, I think it's a priority to keep people safe. I don't know if the answer is to bring back asylums, and I don't know if people would even call them asylums, rehab facilities, whatever you want to call them. But what do we do with a person who's too mentally ill to function in society and becomes violent? Like we're seeing more of these
Mm.
violent mentally ill people, and I do want them treated. Like I don't want to see people suffering, but at the same time, I'm all for keeping the majority safe.
Hmm. I'm with you.
So I guess I would say that I would push your state governments to to handle these crises and to get the data from each individual state and say, okay, well, do we have this many that need treatment for this? Or can we really need to start going not trusting Big Brother and going to our states and doing our own communities.
Mm.
And the reason why I say don't go to Big Brother can't even give me my money.
Right.
Why were they going to take care of us? They lie to you.
Start
They
local.
can't even get right,
Yeah.
like they can't
Hmm.
even if they can't even hold themselves accountable,
Right.
where is the money? Why are they profiting hundreds of millions of dollars? Why are they making contracts with corporations? Why, there's so many whys to this. And I think everyone knows the answer because Big Brother is a bully. It's a bully. That is not a friendly system.
You
It
know what?
really isn't.
Probably have not agreed with you. The whole 3 minutes, I don't know if it's two or 3 minutes that you just spoke. I agree with everything you just said. 100% agree with everything you just said.
Yeah. It's just a matter of, you know, I see this is very, very different because my husband is very, very pro MAGA. He's on the juice.
It's
Okay.
all the
He's on the
juice.
juice. He's on, oh my goodness. He got a picture of President Trump on our wall.
Mm.
And to mess with him, I just would put up, not because I liked them, but just to mess with him. And then I got mad. I put up Caillou on the wall just because. And
Caillou.
he put up Reagan. Yep, he put up Reagan. Literally, I have a picture with me. I put up Caillou when he kept. It's like a short little video I have, but we called it the wall war. Called it the wall war, but I put up a picture of Caillou on the wall when he kept putting up Trump. Then he beat me because he put up Reagan, and I just gave up at that point. But he's on the juice, and I tell him all the time. I'm like, don't trust it. Do not trust it. But at the
Mm-mm.
same time, I'm not on the Democratic, I guess you could call it woke juice or whatever the new word is now.
Mm.
I'm not on that either. You shouldn't trust Big Brother. You shouldn't trust them to do the right thing. And some of these Democrats and Republicans get paid by the same corporations if you really look. Take a look at pharmaceutical companies
Yes,
that were
they're
paying them both.
all yes, they have an agenda. And
Oh,
so
absolutely.
the congressmen always have an agenda to pass what is in the best interest of big pharma or big corporations. And I get
Hmm.
that. And I'm not going to go there, but all I'm going to tell you right now is that I absolutely agree with everything you just said in the last 5 minutes you just spoke. I will not debate it. I don't want to talk about it. I just say I agree 100% about it. And that is a Democrat. And I always say I might lean Democrat, but I am a
Hmm.
centrist because I actually voted for George W. Bush. So I like to have people who I actually believe in their policies, and not because of who they are voting for or what party they vote for. And I think more people need to be able to sit there and go,
Right.
wait a minute. And I'm not going to go into the Epstein. I'm not going to talk about the character of Donald Trump. I'm not going to go into all this other stuff. But when you look at the overall aspects of candidates for the president, the most powerful position in the entire world, and you sit there and go, all the things that we come up, there's the Barack Obama didn't have all these things within 6, 8 months of his presidency. Bush didn't have all these things coming up. You didn't hear all this stuff. Even outside of Clinton's, Monica Lewinsky stuff, that was a rare occurrence. Reagan, you didn't hear all these things just keep popping up around people, our president, and you're always questioning about the character of the president of the United States. And I
You
don't care
should
if you
always
vote
care
him.
about the character of your leaders. And
Yes,
that's another big reason why I tell people do not trust this government. I can't think of one that I there's a flaw in almost every single one of
everyone.
them. And I was just making this joke with a friend of mine from California, and I said, "How can you vote for Gavin Newsom? If he can't be left alone with his best friend's wife, why do you think you can trust him?"
Don't
Like
vote for but
like,
you're
you know,
voting for the character. You're a character. You're
but
voting for
that's
a character of the person, right? If you
right, but that's kind of my point. None of them have, like, this is what I say to people, and this is what I told people when Biden was president. Do not, if you can't, there is no trust there, so do not trust that they can fix the problems. Trust in your own communities, trust in
right,
you have to try
your
with your
local
state
leadership.
and with your own local leadership,
Yep.
because I'm telling you, they make it worse. And this is why I was saying to you when we were kind of having a back and forth with, if you 100% agree with me on everything I just said past few minutes about how we can't trust them, why on earth would we want to trust them to deal with anything foreign or a foreign war?
Right.
We can't. We can't. We like as much as I would want to, and I want to believe the hype and want to stop like the evilness of Putin that they portrayed in the media and everything else. You can't trust
Trust
them.
nothing.
And historically, the United States has made things messy until the United States can ring it back in, start
But
being accountable,
but you
and
can't
also
have.
start taking care of our people, meaning the American taxpayer. Like, if get that right first, and then we'll move on to something foreign.
But you can't have a
Until
president.
right.
But you can't have a president. You can't have a president that has been accused of rape, sexual misconduct. You can't have a president that's sitting there going and saying Epstein uh, files are a hoax. You can't have a president that has already been accused and convicted of defaming and sexual misconduct. You can't have a president that is the worst of us being in the most powerful position in the entire world. He is
Well,
the most inept.
But we do.
I
But
know,
we do.
but we
We
do,
do.
but we do.
Yeah,
But
we do.
but it's a
He was
lesson
voted in.
learned. But it's a lesson learned that we should never look. I would we look. Joe Vegas Valley is a convicted felon.
Oh,
Would you vote for him as a fucking president? No. So why are we sitting here and putting a person that is a convicted felon in the office, the highest position in the entire world? And
Trump is a convicted felon.
everything that follows Trump has always been a headache. It's always been chaos around him.
But here's my issue with that. When the Democrats charged him, and when he became a felon, they might as well have just given
I
him the
agree.
presidency.
I
It
agree.
like him becoming that felon, you might as well have just opened the door and let him walk in
Walk
because
right on
that's
in.
exactly what happened. And as for the whole, well, we have a president that's doing this. We have like how you asked all these how with he does this, he does that. He's been accused of this. And the fact of the matter is, at this point, I'm more worried about the future of this country, and the fact is he is our president, and we have to make there's that old saying, make lemonade out of lemons. You gotta you gotta make lemonade out of that lemon head. You gotta find
And he's not.
we
The
got
economy is going down, jobs are going down, inflation is going up. Everything he's promised has been a disaster. The tariffs are not working. Everybody that I know are concerned about the high cost. And even I sit there and I went to, and I posted it on one of my Facebook pages. I said, you know what? I just spent $9 on a can of spaghetti sauce. $9 on spaghetti sauce.
but I was able to walk in DC and not where like DC. So I don't know if what area, but I don't know if you saw what DC was like
I've been to DC,
prior to
I've been
him.
to DC 1,000 times,
Right.
and
But
I've
my
never
whole
been
point
afraid.
is
Never been
DC,
afraid.
as much as we wanna give flaws, DC has had such a major cleanup these past few weeks, and the crime has gone down dramatically.
I don't.
I'm I
The
want that
people,
safety back for the cities.
the
They
people who,
deserve it.
but I know I get that, and the people who are saying come and take it with their gun laws are the same people who are going like welcoming the National Guard coming to your city. Because if you're afraid of them coming and taking your guns, this is the first step.
But they're coming in under the pretext of lawlessness.
They're
And this is
coming
why did
because
you know that for judges in certain states, you do not need to pass the bar? And you were getting a lot of like let's just call it what it is. We have a lot of repeat offenders that are violent that get very, very light sentences and then they're released back on the streets. Like
that's
what
every
but
judicial
but
system.
certain but the point is there are certain states that have magistrates that don't even require to go to law school. Can you
Well,
imagine you are a lawyer. You have to go to law school and pass the bar to become a lawyer. But there are
sign
certain
me up.
states out there
Sign me
where
up.
but the point is there are certain states where you are not required to have the bar license. You don't have to go to law school. You can just get nominated and appointed. That's crazy.
That
That's
is crazy. And you know
crazy.
what those called? You know what those are called?
Oh boy,
Those are
what?
called justice of the peace. Justice of the peace did not have to have a law degree. You are an elected official by being nominated or elected as a justice of the peace. I knew
Yeah,
that.
I think that's a
I didn't
problem.
know. I
I
didn't know nobody else knew that. Those are elected
well,
positions.
but it's the point that we are having people that do not have to go to law school in charge of
Yes.
sentencing and you see all these repeat offenders
But those are not
that
criminal.
are violent.
But those are not criminal judges that are doing that. You have to have a criminal or
The
law
one for
degree
the
for
stabbing
the
was.
criminal.
The
But for
magistrate
civil,
for the
no,
woman.
for civil adjudication, for civil adjudication, you do not have to have a law degree in order to be a justice of the peace. You're not a judge. You are justice of the peace, and those are elected officials. Criminal judges are also elected, or they're actually nominated based upon their criminal cases and their whatever the curriculum are. But they have to have a criminal lawyer degree in order to be a judge. Justice of the peace do not. There's city ordinances around justice of the peace, not
I think it
criminal.
depends. I'm looking it up, and it says right here it depends on the state.
About
So,
what? About
like,
what? Criminal justice of the
a
peace or criminal justice lawyers or judges?
criminal justice lawyers is what it's saying.
Oh, well, I think justice of the peace, though, are elected officials, right?
Okay, so it's saying right here in certain states, justices of the peace are elected, some are
Elected officials.
nominated, and others, it depends on the state.
It
But
doesn't.
I think that should be a requirement that if you're going to be a judge, and this goes with both civil and criminal cases, I don't care what kind of case, you can't make a you are supposed to be the judge of that case, the law. You are so required to know that law. So I want the judge to at least he should at least know more than my lawyer.
I agree.
Uh,
I'm not arguing with you.
like that to me is wild, but what I'm saying is we have a lot of criminals on the street and we have a mental health crisis. And I think that they go hand in hand.
Well,
But at the same time, we don't have a system, like you said, for mental health very much. And
mhm.
I'm all for treating people. Don't get me wrong. I want people to be treated. I want people to have the opportunity, but we don't have that system yet. So what do we do to keep everyone safe? What is the solution? Do we bring back asylums? Like what do we do for the criminally insane? What
Hmm.
do we do? How important is it to protect society?
I don't want to live in a military state. That's what number one. That's
No,
why
and
we
neither
live
do
here.
I. I don't either. I don't either.
I
Like don't get me wrong. That's
yeah
not that's
yeah
not
yeah
the goal.
right. And
But at
I
the
get
same
you.
time, what do we do?
Well,
What's the suggestion?
I I in in this
Yeah,
tight
tough
knit.
questions.
Yeah.
Yes, believe me,
I
because I struggle with it and we got to ask ourselves the really hard questions like if we're gonna I'm all for taking care of the mentally ill, but at the same time, if you're so mentally ill that you're committing really violent offenses, there needs to be a place for you to go.
right.
And I don't mean a 24-hour or 48-hour
Lock up.
psych hold war at the
Hmm.
hospital. We need a place. We need a place. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. I'm all for doing the mental health, but it's also you got to trust, you got to go to your local communities because
Mm.
until our government can even be handled to be accountable for themselves and our money,
It starts locally.
tr- like if we can't trust them with that, I don't want that spread all over the world.
I agree. I'm all
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It's so
all
funny because we're so opposite, yet we agree on so much.
all I'm gonna
You
say
know?
is I'm gonna say this for part two of Drinks and Discussions, coming back to doing live shows because this was great.
Yeah.
Um, I think that we need to have more of these.
And I'm definitely going to pull up more stats. And
Yes.
I definitely want you to look up Operation Northwood. And I think everyone should, because I think that once people look at that and look at other things like the war on drugs quotes,
Hmm.
you might get an idea that Big Brother, is he really out for you?
Right.
I don't trust Big Brother. Now, my husband, he's
Well,
fun to debate with too. He's very fun. He likes to get under my goat, so don't be surprised if he comes on your panel. But I'm gonna forewarn you, he is a mega Trump fangirl. And I
Normally,
mean, like, you know how you see the Taylor Swift fans and they go crazy and
he's
they're all
he,
about that
he's that
tea.
mega.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah,
I'm
very
listen.
much so.
Well, next time we do this, I'll be back in my
I
office.
wanted to give you a full warning. That way, if you ever debate him and you're like, God damn it, girl, I don't want to hear it, I gave you a
No, no, no.
forewarning.
Listen, I never, and so the reason I actually did this tonight is because Joey Waffles, I don't know if you heard him in the streets. He kept talking to me about something he was still mad at me about from like 3 years ago. And
Oh God.
I have not done a live in so long. I'm sitting here going, and then even people like Miss Thang and Ask Your Bartender were like, "Well, Brian, if you knew he were, you're going." I'm like, "Why y'all coddling sucking his dick?" I'm like, I'm just responding to a person who said something, and they're like, "Well, you knew that was going to get a response." Well,
Well, this is
I
my
didn't know
advice
you were
to
going to get a
you.
response for 5 years ago.
Yeah, this is my advice to you. There, there's many different communities in YouTube.
Yes.
I would recommending branching, like
Way out.
people from the drama sector are behave very different from political debating sectors.
Hmm.
And I found that out firsthand when I started going into different platforms. Uh, so I would just keep the suggestion that I would keep the two separated. I don't
Well,
think the two
right.
mixing is a good thing.
Well, nothing.
Like this sounds so harsh, right? Like because you want everyone to be able to enjoy in.
Yes.
There is a difference between. Uh, Not saying segregate them. I'm not saying that because people are going to go where they want to go.
Right.
But you have to keep in mind people of the drama sector have very different mindset than people of the political and debating
My
sectors.
my
There's
problem
different sectors for a reason.
my problem is that I still have an affinity for some of the people from the drama community. There's some people
I
I
know, but
actually grew
sometimes
up
you
with.
got to
That's
cut weight.
look, and
Sometimes
I
you
have. Right.
gotta cut
You
weight.
got to cut away. But I've actually been on with Dave Packman. I've been on part of some of the political shows, and I've talked to some of those guys, and I'm not trying to make a name for myself out there on YouTube anymore. I just want to be a part of conversation with people who are mature and have growth. If you're sitting here and you're talking about something that happened 2 years ago, well, even a year ago, I am not that guy. I don't want to talk to you
Have
about
you
that.
looked at the mentally ill in that drama sector, though? Come on. I
That's
mean,
my
they
problem. I got dragged into it today, and I sat there and I said, "Hold on, this is my friend, so let me go into this." And all of a sudden, I got going like, "Why did
Okay,
I
when we
do
talk
this?"
about asylums and mentally ill and psych wards, like
You're talking about
that whole
me?
sector, like I don't even like calling it the drama community. I call it the asylum. Like just
Yes.
call it the nut hut
The
for
nut
all I
hut.
care. No,
Yes.
seriously, it's the nut hut. Like they all have. You'd be surprised on what will make a person tick in that community. Like
Yes.
it can be extremely petty. Oh, sorry, my dog's all. God damn it. My dog, I swear he picks the best moments. I'm telling you, you gotta
But
love dogs.
I love cats. I'm a cat person. I got two cats. I don't like dogs. Don't judge me. I have two
Really, you don't
cats.
like dogs.
No,
You
I
don't like dogs.
do. I do. But I don't
No,
like.
it's so funny you say that. So I think that men are more like cats and women are more like dogs. And you're probably looking at me like, oh, I think you got that backwards there. No, I don't. And I can tell you why. Think about a cat. What does it want? It wants to be fed. It loves that place where its tail meets its butt to be scratched. And occasionally wants to be pet and that's it. And then it wants its own space, and when it wants attention, it kind of does that weird rub on you where it's like,
Mhm.
"Hey," looks like a little arch.
Okay.
Okay, now think about a woman
Okay.
and think about a dog. And goodness, the ladies are going to be pissed off at me. Okay, think about a woman and think about a dog. Hey, oh my God, you're home. Can we talk?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, are we going out? Are we going out?
Look
Oh,
at me.
wait, you're
And
going
pay
right
attention to
here?
me.
Let me
Pay
come with
attention to me.
you.
Yes. Yes.
Pay attention. No, no, keep petting me. I don't have I'm just saying, if you think of a woman and think of a
Yes.
dog, now people are gonna, the ladies are gonna get so mad at me for saying it. I can see it now.
Oh.
They're gonna be like, "What the hell were you thinking?" But it's the
Oh.
tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong
I
on this.
can't. I detect no lies. I detect no lies on that
No,
analogy.
like the whole attention of, "Oh my God, you're here. Are you gonna pet me? Where are we going? Are you? Oh, you're going in that room. Let me go with you. No, seriously, let me follow you. No, no, keep petting me. I won't get sick of it. Trust me. Take me everywhere with you." That
Holy
is dog
shit.
energy.
And the
Yes.
cat and the cat's just like, hey, I'm a
Like
guy.
occasionally it wants
If you want
attention, and then it's like,
to,
cool, I'm done. All right, I
leave
got
me
things to
alone.
do, laundry to lay in.
Yeah.
I got clean clothes to lay in right now. But occasionally, when a cat does want attention, it does that weird rub. Like when my husband wants attention, he does the arm thing where he's like, hey, I'm just saying,
I swear to God,
hey,
that
girl.
that is your stand-up comedian. That's your stand-up set right there. You should go to the improv and say that right there. You would have a standing ovation. That shit was funny to me.
It, it's so true, though. It's so true.
That shit was
Like,
funny.
okay. Oh yeah, I got a lot of them. I'm full of jokes tonight. I don't know.
Oh, that shit was hilarious. Well, I thank you. I mean, I'm look. I'm ready to go to bed. It's like I think it's like 1 o'clock where you are. It's 12 o'clock where I'm at, and
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
I am going to. I'm just going to say this because my son's school. He's in second grade. Believe it or not, after all these years, my son's second grade, and they're having a readathon, and they wanted to have people dress up in their readathon car line in the morning. So I was Batman last year for his pickup. So this year I'm going to be Kermit the Frog tomorrow. And then on
That's
Friday,
so sweet. I love that.
I'm going to be Bert from Bert and Ernie.
So I'm a little hurt. My oldest, he's a middle schooler now. So now I'm not fun anymore and mom's not cool.
You are not cool.
So I made I've never heard of a perfect parent, but since he's becoming more distant from me because he's entering that preteen stage, I'm having a hard time letting go.
Mm,
And I've been coming up with all kinds of funny and embarrassing gags. Like I got this big microphone, like the kind that you see at sports events, like this
hmm
little,
hmm
you know. So he goes to school and it's "I love you" on the intercom.
Shut
Apparently,
up.
apparently that was not cool. God,
Oh
can you
my
believe
God.
that?
You are so like me.
Apparently that's not
So,
cool.
okay. You're so like me. You are my spirit animal
Mhm.
because I got my wife works in the school district, so I still go pick up my son. So the first kindergarten year, first kindergarten and first grade, I would put like his favorite plushies in the front of my car, and I'm like second car from the pickup line. This year, I have a 3D fan in my car that I can actually put. If you don't know what 3D fan is, look it up. And I can put
Okay.
images on my 3D fan on my car, and I have all these images, and I can change it, put
Oh,
words and all that kind of stuff for every pickup. And even the teachers are like, you make pickup so much enjoyable for all the kids."
I want to find that. I need to get that. But another fun one that I did to him. So last year there was a little bit of problem of someone heading out the door on time,
Hmm.
and he's a heavy sleeper. So I got sick of it. I said, if you miss the bus one more time, trust me, you ain't gonna like the consequences.
Uh-oh.
So nothing was working. And we went to the school. He missed it again. And I got rollers in the hair.
Uh-oh, no, you
I went
didn't.
in fuzzy, yes, I did.
No, you
Fuzzy,
didn't.
fuzzy slippers, fuzzy pink slippers, and the nice robe. And magically, oh my goodness, he was never late again. Can you believe that?
I
It's
cannot
such a self.
believe.
Yeah, it's very much so. But he gets me too. Like okay, so like he'll get me a whole lot with he knows how to he knows how to really get my goat because when most children have temper tantrums or whatever, they yell and they
Mhm.
talk back. No, not this one. He'll be real quiet and he'll say, I think you need to calm down right now to me.
Oh my
And
gosh.
let me tell you this to all the men out there. If you want to piss somebody off,
Tell him to
but
calm down.
especially a woman, tell me to calm down.
Oh
And then,
yes.
like, okay, to give you an idea, like one time I told you to pick up your clothes, and I told you nicely the first time. I tell you the second time, tell you the third time. Fourth time, I yell at you. I told you to pick up these clothes. Mom, you're yelling and raising your voice. You
Mm.
need to calm down. And then I'm like, and then of course I'm unhinged at that point, and it's like, I need you to calm down. I am calm.
Yes.
Then it turns into that. Uh, he loves to. He's very intelligent, and I want him to be smarter than me. So like, uh, my friends will tell you like he's a really really smart kid, and people are like, man, he's already smarter than you, and I hope he is. Like I want him to
Hmm.
be smarter, but we had a debate about if Pluto was a planet or not one
Oh
time.
my gosh.
And okay, but listen, I had to be right, okay? It wasn't about if it was a goddamn plan or not. It was about the snarkiness and the I'm right and
Yes.
oh, maybe back in your day they taught that. Like you
There's a star.
like I'm not
Yes.
that old. I'm not that old when I had you. Like you know, and just but he's very h- all the time with you're raising your voice. Why don't you go out and go to
Yes.
Starbucks? You need to calm
Yes.
down.
He-
Or one time he asked me, he goes, are you moody? Is it one time he asked me if it was my time of the month
oh.
and I nearly lost my ever loving marbles. He was like, is it your time? Are you hormonal, mom? Now I got really mad when I was pregnant because whenever I'd say, hey, I told you to do this and you didn't. And it would be even when I wasn't yelling and it was, oh, mom, got
Mm-mm.
pregnancy pain again.
Oh
Like,
my
don't tell me that.
gosh.
Don't tell me that shit,
They're so much smarter than we were and so much more forthright than we were when they
Well,
were their
he's
age.
very he knows what he's doing and he's very,
Yes.
very smart with it. Now, my husband is just foot and mouth. Like, we're at the doctor and we're fine. They tell you if you're having or two,
Hmm. Hmm.
they have to look. And oh, poor bastard. He's sitting there and he says, really? It's just one with all the weight she's gained?
Oh.
Foot, insert mouth. Let me tell you, like we have a lot of those fun moments.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
something. It's
That's
something.
crazy. But that's also
Yeah, we're
hilarious.
we're we're fun. Yeah, we're crazy, but I have to get off and so do you. But enjoy, definitely dress up, enjoy your outfit. And now you can tell your child that if they're late for school, like you can dress in such fun fashion, let me tell you. But I'm losing my oldest in the weirdest way, and it's weird because you gotta understand, it's been just us for years. Like,
Right.
he's been
Hmm.
pretty much my only child for all these years. And, now it's that I hate this preteen stage where, like, I now know why God made atheism, okay?
How old?
I now know why, because it's just a freaking like someone made in your own image that doesn't even acknowledge you, okay?
Right.
I
Yes.
understand now. I understand atheism now and why God made it. And I understand why God made teenagers. Because, why not just make them in their own image and then they act like you don't exist and do whatever they want?
How old is your
I
oldest?
hate this so 12
12.
and he's going to be 13, but I hate it. I hate this
Oh,
preteen
yes.
stage. I
Yes.
like middle school, I don't care what people say, middle school is the goddamn worst.
Oh
I
my God, it
hate
is.
I can't think
Yes.
of anyone that likes it. It's the attitude, they smell funny,
And
just
they're not old enough where you can like punch them. You can't punch them because they're like in that in between area.
ooh,
It's like, oh, I want to punch
believe
you in the
me.
face right now. But nope, you
Like,
can't.
one time I told him, I'm like, you want me to show you where your attitude came from? And he's like, I'm more attitude. You're just more crazy. And I'm like, he's very quick. He's a very, very quick one. But he's also very opposite in me in a lot of ways with personality. Like, he loves suits and ties. He loves his little he used to have a briefcase, went
You
on to,
show me that. You show me the picture of him
yeah,
when he asked for his school pictures with the
yeah.
briefcase.
Yeah, oh, yeah. But that's how he dressed all the time. He calls it dress for success.
Ooh.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, he's a smart kiddo. Like
Nothing wrong with
he'll go
that.
far. He'll be a salesman though, for sure. But he's funny about germs. And it's so funny because he's a wrestler. Like me and him used to have arguments. He would like lather himself up in like all this like hand sanitizer and I'd be like, no, you don't. And he'd be like, well, I'm going on the mat.
Mm.
It's like yucky. And I'm like, no, you
That's
can't do
crazy.
that. But he's a great wrestler. Wrestling moms are a different breed, let
They
me
are a
tell
different
you.
breed. Oh, I know. Oh,
Well, you want to know
100%.
why it is, and I figured it out. I cracked the code. You're gonna love it.
Okay.
Most sporting events, they last for like an hour and a half, like a
Hmm.
football game.
Hmm.
Hour and a half. Baseball game, about an hour and a half. Same with soccer, a lot of them. Because wrestling tournaments can last 4 to 6 hours. The shortest tournament I have ever been at is 4 hours.
Really?
And the reason why is because it doesn't just goes by age, it goes by weight.
Wait, yes.
Wrestling tournaments are long. Like
Long.
one time I went to the longest one I ever went to was not 12 hours. It was like 8 hours of full school day. But that is typical. That's very, very typical
Hmm.
in the wrestling world because you never wrestle someone that's above your weight class.
Right?
And I will say he's a tough wrestler because he's tall and lengthy, so he's hard to pin. And he's very tall, and that's normally harder to pin someone when they're tall. And he's been doing it since they start him at 3 now. You can start,
Really?
you can enter your children into wrestling at age 3. He's been wrestling since 3. And
Wow.
it's a very good sport, teaches self-defense,
Hmm. Hmm.
discipline. Like, what better way to defend yourself if there's nothing else than to throw another man to the ground or
Hmm.
learn to subdue him. And it's not always about strength. The biggest misconception in that sport is
Technique.
it's a technique.
Hmm.
Technique. Like I've seen wrestlers pin someone that might have been a little bit above their weight, but
Hmm.
they had better technique.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
especially for freestyle wrestling.
Right. I agree with that.
So yeah, but I hate this middle school stage. They're tall and they're stinky and they don't acknowledge you, and mom's not cool anymore.
Are you
I'm
bro?
so freaking cool, okay? I don't care I'm cool, okay? I am a cool person, okay?
You call
Let
you
me tell
bro
you,
all the
I've been
time?
picked on online, okay, before, but nothing hurts like this. I am cool. I don't care what he says.
You keep telling yourself that. Yes, keep telling you.
I
I am
am.
cool.
I
I'm
am.
the
I'm gonna.
cool mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I am cool. I don't care what he says. He hurts my feelings. I've been picked on online, but nothing hurts worse. Let me tell you.
Do you
What
know we
happened called me?
do you know we've been actually talking for 2 hours?
I didn't realize.
I didn't realize that either. And I'm sitting there going, okay, yeah, and then I looked up there and like, oh, it's 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 40 seconds.
Oh man. All right. Well, I will let you go. And this time
Well,
I
I
actually mean.
appreciate it because I listen. There's very, very, very small-minded people in the sector that I'm from who wouldn't dare
You got to get
not to
away
have
from it.
they would not like to have these kinds of conversations.
No,
And
you gotta get away from it. You got to. You're
yes,
too smart for it. Like, I'm not saying that you can't be friendly with them. I'm not saying that. Like, you can be friends with whoever you want. But there is a difference in the sectors. And I've had this conversation with somebody else that you know about in this community. We won't say his name. We will not speak it. But I had this conversation with somebody else, and I don't think the political and the nut hut section, because I don't even like calling it the drama section. Let's just call it what it is, the nut
the
huts.
nut
I
huts.
don't think, yeah, the nut huts. I don't think the nut huts and the political discussion, the debating, it does not work. It will
It doesn't.
clash,
It does
and
not
it's a
work.
different grade of people.
Yes,
I'm not saying they're
uneducated.
not nice. Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm 100% with you. I look forward to meeting you and some of the other platforms on other channels as well. I would love to like help join you in those, you know, discussions. And I'm also going to start doing a little bit more lives, because
Yeah, you
I
need to. You've
believe
been gone too long.
I have been
Stop
gone
like
too
you need
long.
to come back. Stop it. Come back.
Okay, I need to come back. Yes, ma'am. I will do that. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
And by the way, the reason I did this is because somebody else said, "Hey, bro, you need to come into this voice chat," and I was like, "Okay." I sat in this voice chat, and nobody came to like have this conversation with me about whatever the nonsense they were talking about from like 4 years ago. So I said, "Okay, I'm just gonna just do my
Yeah,
own thing."
it's a toxic circle. It don't get me wrong, it can be so freaking funny. Like, when
Yes,
you
it
like
can be.
it's kind of
Yes,
like watching the Tiger King show, like it's like full of nonsense and it's a train wreck, but you have to
yes,
keep engaging. That
yes,
like I get it. It can be addictive that way because I find so much of the stuff in the nut huts hilarious, but there is such a difference with the political sector. You can't mix them. You can't.
yes. Right. I agree
Like,
with you.
all right.
I hope to join you over there as well, because I
Right.
am not a part of this community or that community, whatever community it is. I'm never going to be a part of that. But anyway, thank you again so much for joining me. If you guys are watching this on the repeat or watching this at another time, give us a like.
Yeah.
Um, and again, thank you. And subscribe to Penguin if you don't know who she is.
I
She's a great
know. I
person.
haven't been forever. I know. It's crazy.
It's
I haven't
awesome.
been live in forever.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate it. And I know
Cool.
we were talking about talk again soon. And
Yeah.
my voice is like really going down the hill. But anyway, thank you. We'll talk soon.